Welcome, everyone. This is our 7th annual SLU Interprofessional Geriatric Case Competition, and this portion is our coach orientation. So I will turn it over to Allison and or Elena, whoever's going to go first, and provide some information on coaching.
Okay.
Elena, would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, of course. I'm Elena Osterberg, and I am in the Department of Clinical Health Sciences in the Allied Health Building, Health Sciences. Allison, do you want Matt to go?
I'm Allison Gibson. Oh, I'm Allison Gibson. I'm an associate professor in the School of Social Work. Matt, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Matt Pigeon. I am the project coordinator for the GLEP grant.
Great.
We're going to talk just briefly about the coach's role for the case competition. So our hope is that by the end of this very brief conversation that folks have a better understanding of the competition itself, who are our participants, our students that usually get involved, what is kind of the charge of the team, and kind of the logistics for students. We'll also talk about the coach role and the logistics for coaches, and then just a little bit more about the timeline and the process that folks should expect. So by now, if you've decided to join us as a coach, I hope you know that it is an interprofessional geriatric case competition. The first round will kind of take place here with kind of more locally with St. Louis University and some of our partners. And then we will have kind of an inter-institution competition a little later with the teams that kind of have won from our local round. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that here. Participate, have agreed to serve on an interdisciplinary team that has been assigned. And everybody's going to get the same case. So we'll all be looking at the same narrative about a client and their family for them to be able to prepare kind of an interdisciplinary response about that case. And so we really want them to kind of work together as a team to think about how they can best kind of provide care from their multidisciplines for that individual as well as kind of their family members. We would like coaches to serve as kind of consultants in this capacity. So we are not requiring that students meet with folks. However, I do think that is a requirement that some of our other institutions are doing. We really feel strongly that we like for our students to really take the initiative with it. And so we will ask for them to reach out to us if they have some questions or if they wish to discuss a little bit further, but we won't require students to meet. And so coaches' experience, it sounds like, can be very different. We'll have some coaches that we'll hear from their folks pretty frequently, especially as we lead up to the competition. And there may be other coaches that really don't hear from their students at all. We really kind of want to put the initiative on the students to make that decision in terms of how to utilize their coach and kind of take some responsibility in that process. And so from here to our case competition, they have about a month to meet and kind of develop and prepare a response for how they're going to address the case.
Allison?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we can't see your slides.
Oh, you can't see them at all?
No. I could put mine up if you would just tell me when to go to the next slide.
Let's see. Can you see them now?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
You might want to, there you go. Perfect.
That is a good reason to interrupt. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So for those that are maybe new to the case competition and in the role of coaching, if you're interested in checking it out, we do have recordings of some of our winning teams on our YouTube channel, but specifically we've got a link inserted here for the team that won last year's case competition. But kind of a good kind of first steps as a new coach is to get familiarized with the case study. We do have that available. We'll be sharing that with folks today. We also have a manual that kind of guides students on kind of the process.
No, you're cutting out, Allison.
For how to approach. Is this a little bit better?
Yes, much better.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So if you haven't already, review that manual that we'll share with folks. And then we'd love for, you know, obviously folks are here in attendance for tonight or watching this recording at a later date to kind of help guide them with what to expect with the coaching. The last thing that could be really helpful is to review the judging criteria. There's a rubric that's been created that kind of guide the judges that participate in this process on how to evaluate the case presentations. And we actually have some new criteria this year, so we'll be sharing that a little later when we go over orientation with our students here in just a few minutes. So again, the expectations are that we really want these students to be proactive and to really kind of take the initiative to consult their coaches during the competition period. We really don't expect that coaches need to set up meetings with students. We really feel that this should be the students' responsibility. So it's important for them to really take the lead with, you know, when we do our breakout rooms here a little later, to let them kind of have an opportunity to introduce themselves, share their contact information, and really kind of leave it to them to make a plan for how they're going to move forward and pursue tackling this case. It's not something where you kind of need to step in and really kind of be directing and scheduling, you know, a meeting or whatnot. I think you can give them a little bit of guidance if they're struggling in terms of figuring out the next steps. But it's really meant for them to work as a team and to figure out how to do the communication to get these together. If at any point in time you have questions about your role as a coach or how the process works, or even just need clarification about anything with the case competition, you're welcome to reach out to us. We've put our email addresses in here. But Marla and Matt would also be, I think, happy to answer any questions as well, to provide guidance throughout this process. We are very, very appreciative of folks that have taken the time to step up and serve as a coach for this event. So students will develop a care plan. They'll have an opportunity to review the case and really think through from a multidiscipline perspective, you know, what are kind of the different needs of this individual and their family, and how can we kind of create a comprehensive care plan for these individuals. So as kind of dictated in the manual, and what we'll talk about here a little bit is part of the student orientation, we really want them to analyze the case and start to generate a list of problems. What's going on for this individual, their family? What do we need to be thinking about to really ensure that they're getting kind of holistic care? We really hope that they will take kind of a person-centered approach and really place the interests of the patient and that family at the center of kind of their plan. So, you know, what is the patient value? What is the family value? And kind of guiding their decision-making around a comprehensive care plan. And it's important for them to really think about what are the you know, interprofessional team members, what do different groups have to kind of offer to really develop kind of again, a holistic plan for this family. They should explore potential interventions, community resources. It is contextualized within kind of the local community. And they should, you know, also plan an evaluation for the care plan. How will they know maybe that their care plan has been successful? What would tell them that they've kind of addressed some of the problems of these clients? The team should also engage in some team reflection. So each team will provide, you know, an opportunity to reflect at the end of their presentation. We encourage them to use the handbook and to kind of pursue, again, this process as really an interprofessional team with interprofessional communication strategies. I'm going to turn it over here and let Elena talk a little bit more about the coaching role.
You're on mute, Elena.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Allison. And this slide kind of summarizes what the role of the coaches are. So each team has been assigned a coach. And so please meet today with your team on orientation night, which is tonight, and encourage them to meet with you as needed as they prepare for the event. The coach's role is to help keep the team on track or to help them focus on collaborative competencies and advise them on available resources, which could include any personal contacts they may have, clinical guidelines, journal sources, and anything else that may be helpful. Students are required to meet with their coach once after orientation and strongly encouraged to set up a rehearsal presentation with their coach. If they do, please offer feedback on the presentation. In the Google Drive, there are tips for coaches as well and clinical resources that may be helpful. There's also an optional coach check-in meeting on October 16th at 5:15. Are we still going to be doing that? I just want to ask that real quick.
I'd be happy to be available for it.
Yeah, me too. Okay. All right. So we highly encourage teams to use, can we go to the next slide, Allison? So we highly encourage teams to use outside consultants and resources to develop their plan. You may want to talk to other patients and family members with an experience that may be similar to the case that we have today. You can also talk with faculty and clinicians from other disciplines. Also, make sure to find relevant clinical practice guidelines and journal resources. Certainly want reliable information. Okay, Allison can go to the next one. Okay, this is a competition, so there is judging criteria. And so a copy of the judging rubric is in the team and coach folder on the Google Drive. The criteria will look at how well the team did at developing an innovative and comprehensive patient-centered plan that shows collaboration among all disciplines, as well as use of various geriatric principles. And teams should include a slide at the end of their presentation that reflects on how well they worked together and what they learned about the role of other disciplines as well. Okay, next slide. So this year, once before, yeah, there we go. Okay, so this year we updated our rubrics based on feedback from previous students, coaches, and judges. There were significant changes made with the goal to make it easier to understand what judges should be looking for, as well as just interpretation, but also interprofessionalism and also their geriatric topics as well. For those of you who have been coaches before, you'll want to take a close look at those changes. Now we'll get into some logistical details and also the timeline. Okay, so if there's a student who drops out from your team, please notify us for tracking purposes and ask any questions as needed and give the students the opportunity to lead. Okay, next slide. Important dates. So SLU competition judging. I guess I should say what's up next for tonight. We have our students, teams, student and coach orientation, and so coaches, please stay on to meet with your team after this coach presentation. Okay.